Welcome to the Murfreesboro.com podcast, where we talk about all things Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Join host John I. Carey, his co-host Jonathan Harmon, and producer Trent Denson as they talk about all the great things happening in our city. From construction updates to local business spotlights to all the amazing events happening in our community. Listen in for all you need to know from Murfreesboro.com. Welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Murfreesboro.com podcast, the post-Thanksgiving edition.
Yes.
Call it that? Okay. The one after Thanksgiving.
A little bit heavier.
A little
bit more worn out.
A little rounder.
Oh,
yes.
Round to shape. I'm getting in shape.
That's right. I'm going to use that from now on.
That's right.
But thanks for tuning in, everybody. As always, I'm John I. Carey here, Jonathan Harmon there. We
Hello.
have wonderful guest, Mr. Grimes over here. Ed
Yes,
Grimes,
sir.
From the Murfreesboro Rescue Mission. There we go. Excuse me.
You
And then Trent over there, off camera.
I'm here.
He's off camera.
Good morning,
today.
Trent.
Good morning, everyone.
And then Jeff over there, as always.
Good morning,
in the
Jeff.
back.
Hey, Jeff.
Well, how was everybody's Thanksgiving to start off with?
Oh, fantastic! Great Thanksgiving. Home with the family, brothers and sisters all came over to eat a little turkey and so forth. So yeah, it was a great time.
Nice.
How many brothers and sisters?
We had two brothers and one sister.
Nice.
And I've got two other sisters, but one's in Memphis, of course, and the other one's in Michigan. They couldn't be with us, but we were able to have what we had it close to us come over.
Oh, so you got a big family, 3 and 3? Is that here?
Yeah, 3 and 3, three
Nice.
boys, 3 girls.
Nice. I'm the last of 5, so I understand. It's a big family.
Yeah,
Good times. Where are you in the mix?
I am right in the middle. 2 girls above me, and of course, one girl and 2 brothers below me.
I got. Oh, you're lucky. See, I'm the baby. I got beat up all the time.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
They got spoiled too,
That's
right?
exactly right. Come on.
Hey, I was well taken care of.
Yeah.
Spoiled.
There's only two of us, and I'm the oldest. And man, my brother got away with everything.
Yeah.
I got away with nothing.
Well, I found out years later, after all the stuff that I thought I'd gotten away with as a kid, like in family reunions, and we all tell stories. My parents were like, "No, we knew that." Like you're
So
the
they
last,
literally let you get away with it. Point proven. Point proven.
Just shot myself in the foot there.
It.
No, we'd be telling the story. They go, "No, we already." I was like,
Videographic
"You already
evidence.
knew that? Oh my god, video evidence." Yeah,
That's right.
I never thought of it that way.
And
So I guess I did.
every parent does that. It's not just yours, just so you know. I'm calling you out, Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad. Oh, that's funny. Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate you coming down.
Oh, great. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah. So
I'm excited to hear about the progress because you and I interviewed. It's probably been 3.5 years ago.
I think when we interviewed, we were just really forming the organization itself and doing a little bit of fundraising and just trying to figure out where we plugged in.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Exactly. It was I think you were maybe 6 months into the organization, maybe a year.
oh wow.
Yeah, maybe that, if that. And boy, I tell you what, a lot of things have transpired since then, and we're now knocking on the door of trying to get property.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, let's hear about that here in a second.
Yeah.
Tell us about you for a second. So you got a big family. You've got a heart for helping folks in need.
Absolutely.
How'd you get to that point?
Well, my story is that I originated from, of course, used to work for Nashville Rescue Mission. Good work going on down there, a lot of good folks down there and so forth.
Huge organization.
Huge organization. And, of course, my goal was to stay there and to retire at Nashville Rescue Mission. That was my thinking at the time anyway. But, of course, God had other plans.
There you go.
I had plans, but he had bigger plans.
As that happens sometimes.
Exactly. So I was just really going back and forth from Murfreesboro to Nashville every day to work, and I began to notice more and more the homeless here in our city and what was going on. And God was using that back then even to just get my attention to say, "Hey, Ed, this is where you need to be. This is where you need to be." And
What year is this approximately?
we're looking at about that's probably about 19. Oh, no, I'm sorry, my fault. 2000. So it's what 2022. About 2003.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. Dang. Okay. So what? Sorry, I interrupted.
Did I get that right? It's 10 years ago, 2013.
13.
Gotcha.
13, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Now, how long had you been with the Rescue Mission, Nashville Rescue Mission?
Nashville Rescue Mission for a total of 16 years.
So
Yeah.
quite a while.
Quite a while, yeah.
why? I guess that's always the question for folks that work that long in that type of an organization where there's so much, and I know there's a flip side of this, okay, but there's so much pain, there's so much hard stories, there's so much heartache that comes in. You know, they're smelly, they're dirty. You know, they're some of them are on stuff. I mean, how do you do that for? I mean, that's the perception, right?
Well,
so what's the rest of the story, right? What's the Paul Harvey here?
Oh, that's a good question. Because at one point I asked myself the same thing. You know, originally when I came out of course, went to Bible college and studied to be a pastor and so forth. And then I just noticed that more and more God was just drawing me to work with the poor, the downtrodden, and I myself at one point said, Lord, why? But you know, God, we all have our calling, we all have our gifts and talents, and you know, God just really equipped, I think, and built me and pulled me toward that, helping people who are really in need, and you know, sometimes you discover yourself, you don't necessarily know what you're good at, but you sort of find it along the way. And that's what this has been. This has been an incredible journey of me finding, hey, this is where I belong. And so I discovered that really working at Murfreesboro Rescue Mission and thinking, again, that I would just stay there for the rest of my life. But God had other plans. And so now my attention is focused right here in our city, trying to help build a shelter to where we can help get folks off the streets.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
You know, and actually we did some volunteer work there many years ago, a long time ago. So maybe we crossed paths and didn't realize it before. But it was, you know, actually getting to kind of do, like what you said, you go into with a preset, you know, kind of vision in your mind of what the people you're going to meet and talk to. And that's not always the case. The stories of some of the people that we're helping, you know, I mean.
And that's exactly the thing. You know, nobody says when they're small, I can't wait till I get older. I want to be homeless.
Yeah,
right. I mean, you just never hear that. You know, we all have goals, dreams, goals, and aspirations, but one by one, people fall into or get trapped into homelessness. Maybe it's through addiction. Maybe it's through loss of a job. Maybe it's mental illness. But there are just any number of things, and everybody has their story one by one. You know, this happened to me. And I became homeless, and that's what you'll hear.
Yeah.
Well, and I've heard staggering statistics before about the population at large. How many folks are one or two poor decisions or unfortunate circumstances away from being in that situation? So you know, a lot of folks ride on the edge of that, and you know, sometimes when you get pushed over or jump over the edge. It's hard to get back, isn't it?
And you're right. And sometimes, Jonathan, it's just one or two life-changing decisions from becoming homeless. Sometimes it's mental illness. Sometimes it's divorce. Sometimes it's just a series of bad decisions, one right after another, and then suddenly you find yourself, you're out there on the streets, you're not able to take care of yourself, or maybe you go deeper in, you get depressed, or you're trapped into addiction and things like that, just any number of things. And that's what we run across. And there's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to homelessness. I mean, everybody is homeless for a different reason.
But I think the name of the game, and this is kind of where I was going with the whole rest of the story, is that through the correct type of assistance, through ministry, through you know, taking each person's story individually and saying, okay, how can we help you? There's stories of redemption that comes out of that. There's stories of salvation. There's stories of, you know, turning it around, pulling them back up off of the precipice. And I think that's probably what is the best part about what you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
Right? Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's really this whole thing to me. And people get into homelessness and helping the downtrodden for various reasons. Okay, and my story is, of course, it's one of ministry. It's one of a calling out of you know, from God. And him just, you know, through a series of events, you know, and of course with you, John, it probably takes 2. With me, it takes 40. You know, hey Ed.
Oh yeah.
Look this way. Look this way.
And then a couple of good little slaps as well, right?
Thank you for good measure, just to make sure I stay focused. But yeah, and that's what it is. You know, it's a calling for me, and you know, this is something that, you know, I just have to do. You know, I mean, I know this is what God wants. He's put it in my spirit. spirit. It's on my heart. And I mean, I eat, sleep, drink, and breathe it. How can we help get the homeless off the streets here in Murfreesboro?
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. How do we get the homeless off the streets in Murfreesboro? How do we help them?
Well, that's an interesting story, and one of which I'll say years ago when I first started looking at what was happening here in our city, and of course the landscape's really changed. We actually had even a shelter here at one time, not a very big one, but one that was doing some really good work. And of course, they had to close down. And suddenly, our numbers went from 90 per the annual city's homeless count to into the 300. I want to say 380. Yeah, 380. And so you can see, without a shelter here in our city, those numbers are going to only grow. Right? And so there has to be a landing spot somewhere where people can get back on their feet and back into the community. And so when I looked at then, I said, the main focus of what we do needs to be to build a shelter. People have to have a landing spot. If we all three became homeless in this city today, the question is, where do we go? Okay? And there are some temporary things that we are doing right now, but we need something long-term, something sustainable, something that's going to help us get back on our feet.
What about the argument that if you have a shelter, if you have, resources and things like that, that you actually sort of magnetize the city?
Well, that's an interesting question because I was asked that probably about 6-7 years ago, and I addressed the individual. I said, "Look, we haven't laid one brick, we haven't done anything, and you already have homeless in your city." I said,
a growing population of
a growing population. Yeah. Anytime you have a city that's growing as fast as Murfreesboro is, you're going to have some other things that grow with it. Homelessness is one of those things that accompanies the growth in our city, and that is that everybody's not going to be able to do well. And so there needs to be a place when that happens that we can help them get back on their feet and get back out there in the community. And so, homelessness is something that's going to continue to grow from 90 to 380, without some place that says, hey, we're going to help feed, clothe, and get you back on your feet. It's only going to continue to grow.
Now, with say Nashville, excuse me, with the Nashville Rescue Mission in mind, obviously the shelter is number one. You want a place for people to go, but what other services are you helping people with? Are you helping them find jobs or food or clothes or anything like that? Or?
Absolutely. Murfreesboro Rescue Mission will be, in its design, it's designed to help that low barrier homeless person, that person that's sleeping under the bridge, in a car, in an abandoned building, to be able to come out of the tent city, exactly, come out of that environment and come into a stable, sustainable environment where they'll know they'll have 3 meals a day, where they'll know they'll have a place to sleep at night without having to worry about that. Then change their focus to, hey, getting a job, getting back on my feet, getting back into the community. Also, there are those who are trapped in addiction, so there'll be that emergency shelter service for men, single women, and women with children. Then there'll also be programs to help people take that next step. Okay, I am trapped in addiction. What do I do now? Well, I need some place where I can come and get clean and sober and then get back on and return to the community. You can't put anything you put between an alcoholic or a drug addict, anything you put between them and success is lost. But let's say if you give a drug addict a car, will he have that car in the next 3 months? More than likely not, because his addiction is key. And so you've got to be able to deal with the issue that led up to him becoming homeless before you can have success with him living in the community.
With the underlying...
Makes sense.
Yeah, I got
well, that's classic Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Yeah.
If they're hungry, they can't think about self-actualization.
That's true.
You just can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
And so the design of all that is to build a comprehensive shelter, one that not only deals with the basic homelessness, but also offers some programs that say, hey, here's a doorway back into the community. You come in this way, you go out that way. And then hopefully that means coming in, dirty, addicted, or just whatever the case is, but going back out there, living a lifestyle that you're accustomed to.
Yeah. Have you networked or gotten together with other agencies here in town. Like I'm thinking of, like, for example, Sunrise Sober Living Homes. They're relatively new in the community, but he's now on his third sober living home that he's opened up. And this one is in particular to men only, but he has the owner has a great story behind why he's opening these places, but it's for men with addiction problems on their way back into the community. So, like, if they came to you first, maybe he could be a good resource.
Oh, absolutely.
The next step.
Yeah, the next step.
We have partnerships right now, and we're developing more partnerships as we go along the way. And I'm learning of people, I mean, every single day almost that, hey, this guy's doing this guy's doing that. And suddenly, what looked like a long journey before, now I'm starting to see the pictures of the puzzle come together. Yeah. Some of the partnerships include, we work with the Journey Home right here in Murfreesboro, do great work. Scott Foster heads that up. Murfreesboro Cold Patrol, another great organization.
I love those guys. Yeah,
they're out there I mean, they're literally in the highways and the hedges.
They are,
and just beating the bushes and tracking folks and making sure that they have a warm place to stay when it's really cold.
We delivered like 30 sleeping bags for them one time.
Oh man, fantastic!
Yeah, I love those guys. They're awesome.
Well, I think that's the thing to really realize if you're watching right now is that we have organizations that address some things, right? And you have. So if you're homeless in Murfreesboro and you try to figure out how to kind of get help and how to get your life back together, you've got a list of organizations that, okay, well, I need to go over here for that, and I need to do this over here, and then I need to do this over here. It's a full-time job just figuring out how to get a meal at this time of day and this time of day and get a blanket.
It really is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what I'm picturing, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, is that you guys are kind of that doorway. So you can connect, you can fill in that gap, the glue that pulls some of those others together, and it's a good place to start.
Right, and there's an organization right now in our city, of course, used to be called years ago the Mayor's Homeless Task Force, now evolved into what's called H3ARC, and I hope I get these acronyms right. I think it's homelessness, health, and human services, I believe it is. Those three are combined together. They meet once a quarter and, of course, talk about the issues that are going on in our city, and a lot of our great organizations that are involved in helping the homeless are a part of that as well.
Now, I'm just curious, and take, like you had mentioned Tent City earlier. There was, going back to what we said with the city getting bigger, and it's bound to, the homelessness population is bound to get a little bit bigger as the city grows. I get that. There was a certain area of town I drove by the other day that I'd never noticed before, but there was all of a sudden some tents that had popped up, and I really wanted to stop and just walk over and be like, "Hey, what do you guys need? Can I help you with anything?" But I wasn't sure how that would be received.
Right.
Have you done, like, is that literally what it comes to in some cases? Like, have you just walked down to like Tent City and goes, "Hey guys, I got some food for you"? Or?
I have. Of course, typically in the summertime, Murfreesboro Rescue Mission engages in what's called Beat the Heat, which is where we take water out to the camps and so forth,
great.
and places like that. Last year was really, really challenging, of course, with COVID and all that. It just made things a little bit more strained, so to speak. But we do try to engage on the street in the community. I'll say this: Murfreesboro Cold Patrol really does a much better job at that than we do. They do far more. They're really the boots on the ground personnel when it comes to that. That is really their bailiwick, so to speak. Of course, and I'll say this to sort of. Because people have trouble sometimes understanding, well, what is the difference between Murfreesboro Rescue Mission, Murfreesboro Cold Patrol, Journey Home, and all that? Where exactly do you guys fit in? Just sort of picture it this way. Picture it as a pie, right? And we're all divided up, and everybody has their slice. The Murfreesboro Cold Patrol, they go out into the they're more of an advocacy group that goes out. They meet the homeless where they are. They go out into the woods and they advocate right there on the spot. I mean, what do you need? What can we do for you? What can we do for you today?
Right now.
Right now. That's what they do. Journey Home is more of an organization that their next level to help the homeless. In terms of helping them with educational needs, helping them, they feed on a daily basis.
2 meals a day, right?
2 meals a day, exactly.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, engage in several other things in terms of trying to be that first stage of help for the homeless. or that next stage of help for the homeless. But right now there is no place where they can go and sleep on a regular basis. And so Murfreesboro Rescue Mission is more geared toward the future of what we're trying to do with the homeless. So in other words, there needs to be that one staging place where we know they can be every single night. And of course, the three of us together are actually engaged in what's called Coldest Nights. So right now there is a temporary shelter through First Baptist Church downtown, through St. Paul's Episcopal.
Okay.
One hosts the men, the other one hosts the women. And when it's 32 degrees and below, we combine together actually to have that. And so those are the three pieces of the pie, and that's sort of where we all fit in.
Do you go?
I hope that made sense.
No, you're fine. Yeah. I'm just curious. Do you go out and do you pick them up? Do you have like do people go out in their own vehicles and pick them? Do they just show up? Because I was just thinking, I have a big excursion. I can, go drive some around if you need.
Man, it sounds like we just recruited you, dude.
No, yeah, that's fine.
I like that.
Open mouth, insert foot.
No,
that's a good thing, man.
Yeah,
he's a soldier. We actually don't do pickups unless there's an extreme situation. I've actually gone out and
I wasn't
gotten
sure.
people. There are certain people that most folks can walk and can make it. We encourage folks that can. We're established, so they know. I get the word out as to when we're having shelter and when we're not having shelter. That's one of my responsibilities. But most of them can make it on their own.
Okay.
Those that can't for some reason, and you're right, there are time when there are people out there, maybe they're disabled, or maybe they're just too intoxicated to get there.
I got you.
Then that sort of thing is used. Exactly, transportation.
Well, and I think you start to see concentrations of folks as well. So people will kind of congregate closer to the services that are offered to them. Oftentimes,
they do, and usually that's within a mile radius of downtown, and that occurs in most cities across the United States. Within 1 mile radius of downtown is where you'll see the homeless.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad you laid it out like that, because you can really kind of see the stepping stones. I mean, you've got people that go out and say, "Hey, we've got services. What do you need right now?" And then you've got that first step of sort of stability where you can get 2 meals a day at the same place,
right,
at the same time. Whether they're people that you normally see within the homeless community or that are serving the meals, you get some similar faces over and over. So start to establish a little bit of stability that way.
Yes.
Something you can count on, right? Something that's reliable. And then the next step is, okay, how do I get warm? Right. I mean, and have a place that's home, so to speak.
Exactly. And that's the kind of thing that we need organizations pulling together. And I think I want to say that I've watched over the last I want to say 7-8 years, organizations really come together and work together and pull together to really become more effective. When I first started looking at the homeless here in Murfreesboro, there were a lot of different attitudes, beliefs about homelessness. That's really starting to come together in a way that's really good and beneficial for the organizations involved and the homeless who are out there, and also for the community.
So I got a couple questions, and we'll kind of go this route. So what is Murfreesboro Rescue Mission doing right now? Where are you guys located? What does the organization look like right now? Snapshot today.
If you were to take a snapshot of it, you would open up my garage and you'd see blankets and water and all kind of stuff. My wife's about to kick me out of the house because I got too much stuff.
Yeah.
And you find and basically we are operating right out of the house. That's what Murfreesboro Rescue Mission looks like right now. And if you took a snapshot of it, you say, oh, okay, not much going on there.
But you're pulling organizations together. Is that pretty accurate?
Well, that's really not our job to pull the organization together, but rather to enter collaboration with other organizations. And so right now, our main target, if you say, what do we look like right now? What's a snapshot of Murfreesboro Rescue Mission? Murfreesboro Rescue Mission is engaged in probably the toughest, I'd say it's like we've chosen the hardest piece, and say, okay, here's an elephant, but we're going to eat it one bite at a time.
Let's tackle this one first.
Certainly the most expensive.
It really is, because we're working on property right now. If in order for us to have a viable solution to homelessness, we've got to have a piece of dirt somewhere here in the city where we can say, okay, this is where the shelter's going to be. And so for the last, I'll be honest with you, from our inception, we've actually started looking for a place to stay, a place to be. And so Murfreesboro Rescue Mission is engaged in looking for property. And I'm happy to report that as of last year, of course, we put a contract on some land, and we're looking to close that out by the end of this month. Okay?
Oh, congratulations! That's awesome.
That is now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll leave the dollar figures out there. It's a $200,000 proposition. We're $30,000 away from getting to our goal.
You hear that, people out there?
Yes, please.
All right.
So if there are any potential partners out there, man, please give me a call.
Yeah.
Hey, and 'tis the season.
That's right.
Yeah, it is. It
That's
is.
right.
It is.
And have you run into? So I'm assuming the land is within that 1 mile radius.
It is.
And
it is.
The second thing, I guess, are you running into? You mentioned this earlier, sort of. Are you running into community pushback? Are you running into roadblocks that you maybe didn't expect or hoped you wouldn't expect, but you really did kind of expect it? Like, are other people pushing back on that, or
as of right now, no. I mean, anybody you talk to, and then you can do it yourself. You go talk to somebody about homelessness, and they'll say, "Yeah, we need a shelter here," And of course now, NIMBY,
but not next to me,
right? Not in my backyard.
Yeah.
They say, when you talk to the location, now that's a different story. But now, one of the things that we've done is we've worked consistently with city planning, so we don't make a move without consulting the city and saying, okay, and of course now, I'll tell you just a quick story, if I could. And I went through years of frustration. I'd go out and find a place. I'd go to city planning. I'd say, hey, look, guys, this is where the Murfreesboro Rescue Mission really needs to be. And, man, I tell you what, I think this would be a great place.
Here's 20 reasons why you can't.
Yeah, well, they were a little bit nicer about it, but basically in a nutshell, and so it became a vetting process that we entered in with them, and so one day I went home after having a meeting with city planning, frustrated as all get out, and I said, Lord, I'm really, really frustrated. You've called me to this, and yet I can't do anything because every time I find something, it's just not panning out. And so God, in his wisdom, just spoke to my heart and said, go and talk to them again. But this time, don't tell them where you want to be. Ask them, where can you be? And I'm telling you, it was a new day.
There you go. All right.
That's awesome.
It was a new day.
That's awesome.
And so they became, instead of not really adversaries, but instead of an adversarial position, they were more allies, and we began to work together.
So instead of a no, it was, hey, let's figure this out.
Let's figure this out.
All right.
And that was a beautiful day.
It went from why can't we to how can we?
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. That. All right. So, never mind. I was going to say, can you disclose where that's at, or no?
Well,
you don't have to.
Not at this time, but I'll say it's within 1 mile of downtown. But I tell you what, I look forward to being back to when I can disclose it, and we'll shout it from the rooftop.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Shout
it's
it
a
from
day.
the rooftop.
Absolutely.
You got it. That's wonderful.
Okay.
Well, how can more people, either get involved or get more information about you? What's your website? How can they contact you? If you got anybody out there who wants to help donate, how can they do anything like that?
Absolutely. Murfreesboro Rescue Mission, you can find us. We do have a website, www.murfreesbororescuemission.org. If you just type that into your web, to your browser.
We'll put a link to that.
Exactly. That will pull us right up. We'll let you know a little bit more about us, what we have done, what we are doing, and also how there's a donate tab to where you can donate.
Okay.
And specify what you want to donate to, whether it's land or whether it's current operations and things like that. We have some current needs as well. Of course, we do the laundry for Coldest Nights.
Wow.
And just kind of
I've always wondered how that happened.
Yeah,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Is that in your garage too?
Thank God, no. The soap powder is, and some other things and bags and all that we put the laundry in. But thank God we just go to the site, bag it up, and take it over to our local coin laundry and do it there. $200 a pop. I mean, every time we do laundry,
Wow.
It's a half day event. My good friend Tom Caps and I, we both go down there and make sure that happens. And I can use some volunteers for that as well. But www.murfreesbororescuemission.org. Also, you can call me personally, 615-605-1705. That's 615-605-1705. Ed Grimes, and I will pick up the phone personally. Or if for some reason I'm busy, just leave me a message and say, hey, I'm interested in helping some kind of way.
Now, that's really putting it out there because you put your own phone number.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, that shows
you might
really
want to rethink that next time.
I am in it to
We're going to put a link to that too.
And if it's bad stuff, just leave the bad stuff, man. Don't worry. I'll listen to it and evaluate, and we'll keep on pressing.
So I got one other question, and this is something that I have debated so many times with so many people. So, as you said, Murfreesboro does have a homeless population.
Yes.
You see folks on street corners. You see, the person approach you at the gas station, whatever. What is, you're an expert. You've been doing this a long time. What is the best?
I don't know about all that.
You're more an expert than me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
What is the best way to actually help somebody at an individual level? So when you're walking down the street, when you're at the gas station, when you're at the corner, whatever, and somebody's asking you for money, or maybe they're not, maybe they're just there and it's very obvious they're destitute, right? What is the best way to help somebody on an individual level?
Well, I always say this, and that has to become, you're helping people on an individual level, but it also has to be an individual decision, and sometimes at the moment. Some people say, let your conscience be your guide. I like to say, man, just pray about it, get an impression from God, and see where He's at with you. I mean, if I say don't give anybody any money ever, man, there are people out there who genuinely need a $5 bill or some gas or just whatever, and it's real. There are those out there. It's a what's the best way to put this here? It's just it's a game for them.
Sure.
I mean, and they do it on a regular basis. So you have to evaluate every situation as it comes to you, because you don't really know just how real the need really might be.
Yeah.
So take that in consideration always. But I'll say the best way, support these local organizations in town who are already established and doing the work. Murfreesboro Rescue Mission. We're trying to get a shelter here in our city. That's a very that's a great cause. Murfreesboro Cold Patrol. I mean, they're meeting needs right here, right now. Journey Home. I mean, and Greenhouse Ministries, and I could go on and on and on and on and just name organizations. But yeah, just support. For sure. That your money's going to a good place, and not only that, but you're working collectively with others to make the dollar go further. So absolutely,
and just I'll tell you 1 minute quick story and then I'll shut up after this. But based on what you said about how you said like individual basis and going from there, like I'm a big fan of, like, for example, if I see somebody on the corner that says hungry, homeless, need food or something like that. I saw a gentleman that said it said homeless veteran hungry. And I pulled out and said, "You really hungry?" I said, "When was the last time you ate?" And he said it'd been a while. And so I said, "All right, I'll be right back." And I drove around. I went to the McDonald's. It was on the corner of Old Fort and right by the Walmart right there in Thompson. And I got him Big Mac meal, big size, the super size, big Coke and everything. Yeah. And I came back and I gave it to him, and he was very thankful. Wow. But as I was driving away, I saw he went and put it behind a bush.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh man!" I was like, "Come on, dude." So I drove back around. And I was getting ready. I was like, "What the heck was that about?" I did what I was thinking. But I went out and I said, "Hey, did you enjoy your meal?" And he said, "Man, I'm sorry, I couldn't." And I saw on his sign it said diabetic. And I went, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." I said, "You said you were hungry. I thought I was helping." He goes, "No." He's like, I am hungry." So I pulled out. I had a 10 in my wallet. And I gave it to him. I was like, I'm so sorry." He's like, "No, man, It's the gesture." But he was so thankful for that. But so don't, I've had this talk with people sometimes, if you see somebody on the corner, don't give them money, whatever. No, this guy genuinely needed money because he had to go get something specific.
Never saw that coming.
Well, he went and put it behind the bush, and I was like, "What the man? I just went and spent my time and money to go get you that food. You're not going to eat it." Wow. And for obvious reasons why. But so that guy needed money in that case.
Exactly.
But I felt like such a jerk after that. I was like,
as you should.
I know, right?
But you learned something.
Yeah. Well, it said
and I learned something.
Yeah. I never saw that coming.
Yeah. I mean, all I saw was hungry, homeless veteran. And I was like, for one, I support veterans. And two, I was like, you're homeless and you're hungry.
Wow.
Let me get you something, man. You can't be like this. And then underneath that's a diabetic. And I was like, oh, man. So anyways, my point being, like you said.
That was a fantastic point.
So that same person showing up at the services, it can be special, what's the word I'm looking for? Triaged, I guess, and be like, okay, we need to feed you, but we need to feed you this.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that goes on. And a lot of times, the same as you trying to figure out, or the navigate the needs of that individual. I mean, it's like that. Just about everywhere you go, there are different people. It takes different things to help them, and it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
And I think that's
even in the realm of addiction, right?
Exactly. Oh, exactly.
One person that's hooked on this drug is not the same as this person that's hooked on the same drug,
or the amount of time they spent in their addiction. Absolutely.
Yep.
Wow, good points.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So. But anyway,
gosh, Ed, it's so good to see you again, buddy.
Thank you for coming on.
Man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Congrats on the location. I can't wait till you can disclose that.
Yeah.
And you're coming back.
We're coming
shout
back.
it from the roof.
We're going to shout it from the roof.
Let's throw this out there. I just want to do this because I like this. So you guys close on the land. You're $30,000 away from that.
Yes.
What is the facility going to cost? Ballpark.
To actually, there's actually a three-part in all of this. Number one, there's the purchase of actually 2 properties. One is 1 acre and actually has a building on it. Okay,
nice.
Now we won't utilize that building for the mission itself, but there is an empty lot adjacent to that. Okay, so we've got $200,000 that we're trying to raise by the end of this year. We're $30,000 away. We've got $150,000 we've got to raise by the end of next year, or to buy the.
Does the building let you clear out your garage?
It lets me clear out the garage, man.
Yes,
my man.
We're talking to your wife there on that one.
Staying married.
She's gonna love this. She's gonna love this. And then, of course, we're going to actually build a building from scratch. We've got right now a major partner that's looking to help us in all of that.
Wonderful.
It's called the Southern Building Group. Chad Davenport.
I know those guys.
He's fantastic.
Okay.
He's a good guy. And, of course, Char Smith is out there with them as well. We have all met together, and they're going to help us with this. So they're a major partner, a major player. Once we get to going through the construction, the plans are coming together for that. And so
that's wonderful.
Yeah, we're quietly working on the back end as well.
Has he ballparked the building? I like throwing big numbers out there so that people know.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the need.
Yeah.
So are we $500,000 for the building?
We have ballparked it. It'll be 1.5 to build it, and to build it, it'll be a one-story building. I think it's about over 10,000 square feet of building space.
That's awesome.
This thing is going to allow us to have to help single women with children, single men. I believe there's even some room in there for intact families on a short-term basis. And then now that's for emergency services, but also some programs as well that will help them get rooted and established before getting back out into the community.
Very much like Nashville Rescue Mission.
Nashville Rescue Mission, absolutely.
All right, folks. So you heard that. So we're at 1.6568 million total that we need to raise to get an effective long-term shelter.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Murfreesboro is generous. Murfreesboro is caring, and it's something that we need. And if you've driven around Murfreesboro, you know that we need it.
We gotta have it.
So we've spoke it out there.
Yes.
Now we just got to get folks to start working on it.
And we know for a fact there's some very nice business people out there.
Yes.
I'm not going to name them specifically, but I know they get this.
You know who you are, and you know we know who you are. Yeah, that's
right. It almost sounds like the mafia.
We will find you.
It's the mafia with a smile.
There you go. Hey, I like that. I like that. The mafia with a smile. How cool. How
we
cool
show
is that?
with a smile. Now you donate, right? Right now.
We love you so much.
I need to get you just a hat and a suit.
That would be awesome. Awesome. Well, good deal. Well, thank you again for showing up and giving us your time today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you for the work you do.
Yes, thank you so much. And we'll put all your info in the description and everything so people can reach out.
Fantastic.
And please let us know whenever you need, or
I will.
if we can help in any other way. So
Yes.
we'll take care of that. And definitely, Mr. Trent's over there big on spread the positive.
Yes, sir.
So,
And one more plea, I'm going to throw it out there. Giving Tuesday was yesterday, and because of that, if you didn't give, if you missed that opportunity, find one. Murfreesboro Rescue Mission, Cold Patrol, all these ones that Ed has mentioned, Murfreesboro Muslim Youth doing the work, your church, wherever it is that you are compelled to give, man, throw $20 out there, throw $200 out there, whatever. Just remember that there are a lot of folks out there doing the work that you wish you could do, but you don't have the gifting for.
Exactly.
And just like Second Harvest, right? You can buy a can of food for 80 cents at the store, or you can give $1 to Second Harvest and they can buy 4 meals with that.
Exactly.
So stretch your dollar.
Yeah, stretch a dollar.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it.
Yeah, fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you again. We appreciate it. We know you're busy, so we'll stop here. We got to head back and get to work.
Jonathan, man, great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks,
It's
buddy.
been a great time.
Thank you very much. And as always, thank you all for watching, tuning in. Make sure you click on the link in the description and donate.
That's right.
Help out. So thank you all. We'll see you on the next one.